Her name is Erin, and she talks.
Iniciamos la semana 5 en la temporada 2021.
Hola, Oscar.
Oscar, ven.
Always sent me a game plan.
Hola, Nestorito.
Jueves por la noche.
Gracias, pesadilla.
Ok. ¿Qué pasó, mierduki?
You were in the front row. You were like right in front of me, and I was like, do not show me that phone cover. And literally, it's like the last press conference I'm ever doing in my career. And I see this, he's filming with the Steelers case, and I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
Oscar. Mucha salud, mijo.
¿Con qué canción iniciamos el viaje?
Ahora tenés ganas de
En diciembre.
Bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Muy buena tarde, muy buen día, muy buena noche, muy buena madrugada. A la hora que usted esté escuchando este espacio, Clériga al aire, bienvenido. Arrancamos con toda la potencia de una gran presentación en Moscú en la década de los 90, Metallica y ese gran éxito que tenía en aquel lejano 1991 con el Black Album. Y lo traemos de nueva cuenta a este espacio porque sin mayor preámbulo, hoy tenemos una charla muy, muy agradable. Estaremos platicando con un artista en toda la extensión de la palabra. Miembro, honorífico y en activo. Él es el que crea cada una de las piezas de pintura en el Salón de la Fama de Luisiana. Sí, lo escucharon bien. Es el artista oficial del Salón de la Fama de Luisiana. Los atletas que estuvieron en esa zona a nivel colegial, por supuesto los que extendieron su carrera en cuestión de nivel profesional. Así que ahí creo que ya está la conexión y arranco de inmediato este episodio de Clériga al aire saludando a Christopher Brown. Hello, my amigo Christopher. Thank you so much. In Mexico and Latin America, football is a great passion, and you connect with the people at this side of the world because your art is incredible, it's amazing. But my first question is so simple, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing really good. And thank you for having me on, and definitely want to say hello to all my friends in Mexico. And believe it or not, I have quite a few friends in Mexico, and it's good to reach the rest of Latin America.
Chris, a couple of months ago, we have the 2022 season in the professional football here in Mexico. The LFA is the name of the league. And the champion, Fundidores de Monterrey, is the team, have a QB alumni Northwestern State,
Yeah.
your alma mater. His name is Shelton Epler. We always have connection in this universe, in this world.
But yeah, that's pretty cool that he's down there playing. Yeah, I love that. You know, if he's watching, yeah, go Demons.
Please tell the people, how do you do for a living?
Well, it's kind of two-faceted. So I'm a high school art teacher. I've been doing that for 21 years, going on 22 years now. Some people would say that my other job is my side job, but I feel like they're equal. Because I'm also the artist for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, and I'm a sports artist, current author. My first book just came out just shortly ago. It's called Baseball's Life Lessons by the Stars Who Played It. And so yeah, I get to meet a lot of people, you know, stars of the game. I've met Peyton Manning, Shaquille O'Neal, Ed Reed, Kevin Mawai, a bunch of big time football players and baseball players and Olympians and everything. So I've been doing that since 2009. And so I've done over 130 portraits for them over the years. And every late June, we have their induction ceremony. So we'll have another one here coming up, and I'll get to meet some more people that I've been watching for years. And, you know, it doesn't matter how long I do this. It's just, I'm always a sports fan, first and foremost. And so I feel like every year they announce the next year's class, I'm like a kid in a candy shop or like it's Christmas, you know, like, you know, I get excited because I get to do their portrait, but I also get to meet them and talk to them and take pictures with them and those kind of things. So it's just super exciting.
Tell me something. How start this connection between your art and sports?
So when I got out of college, I wasn't necessarily a sports artist coming out. I got some good advice from a pretty successful illustrator, and his advice was, you know, as far as artwork, you need to find something that you're passionate about and kind of focus on that. He focused on Santa Clauses. Like so I know it seems weird. Like all year long, all he would do is Santa Clauses, but he became the Santa Claus guy. And so if anybody for, say, Pepsi or Coke or any of these products needed a Santa Claus, he was the guy they would go to. And so he became that guy. And so I started thinking, well, what do I want to do? What do I really, really care about? And I had been an athlete since I was like 5, you know? So, and I was fortunate enough to play professionally in minor league ball until I was 29. And so that was my whole life. And so I was like, well, it seems pretty common sense that I go in and I do sports art. And so it just kind of started doing it. And then, unfortunately, unfortunately and fortunately all at the same time, the previous Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame artist had passed away. And I had donated some work to the university, and the director of the Hall of Fame saw my work and asked me to apply. And long story short, it became down between myself and the guy who does LSU's Hall of Fame, who's also a former football player, former athlete. And so we were both, they liked us both. I found out, and I did a portrait of an LSU football player, and I sent them pictures. I emailed them pictures, and I said, feel free to compare. And so the next day I was offered the job. So
Okay. Do you remember who was the first athlete you painted?
yeah, kind of. So Northwestern State played Iowa in the NCAA tournament. It was the first ever playing game. So it was a really big deal for the college. Unfortunately, Iowa was very highly ranked and was really, really good. And so Northwestern actually beat them on a last second shot in the NCAA tournament. So it was a huge event for the university. And so I was asked to do a portrait of that for the university so they could auction it off. And so that ended up being actually the first piece. And then it just kind of sprung from there. Marshall Falk, the running back, was actually my first Hall of Fame portrait that I did.
I can see a Giants helmet. Who is that guy behind you?
That's Gary Reasons.
Yeah.
Uh,
Number
Yeah,
55,
he played
yeah.
a while back, linebacker, and he won 2 Super Bowls. He's actually in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. He went in though before I became the artist. So I actually met him at one of the events, and he lives in this area. And so we've met and had dinner, and he signed that for me, and I gave him some prints and those kind of things. And so we've kind of, I don't know if we consider each other friends, but we certainly know each other and have spent some time together. And he's super, super nice guy.
Ok. Estamos platicando con Christopher Brown, artista, pintor, y él es el artista oficial para cada una de las obras en el Salón de la Fama de Luisiana, y por supuesto es un gran apasionado del béisbol, del fútbol americano, de todos los deportes aquí en Clériga al Aire. Chris, could you put in words what do you feel when you are making this piece of art?
Well, for me, it's just absolute freedom. You know, I'm getting to do something that doesn't involve anybody else. Nobody affects it directly. You know, I say directly because we're all influenced by everybody around us, but it's my hand, it's my brush, and for me, it's therapeutic in a way, because I get to just completely be in the moment, and you almost feel it's almost like an honor, because you get to create something that doesn't exist on the entire planet until you do it. You know, and I think if you just learn to enjoy the process and just honestly be in the moment of creating and learn to enjoy that, the end product is just a byproduct of that. And you'll learn to love it more, because the fact that you actually enjoy doing it, as opposed to, you know, beating yourself against the wall, beating your head against the wall, being frustrated the whole time. So art, you just gotta learn to enjoy the actual doing art.
Just say a couple of words: freedom and process. I can see behind you is that the coach Nick Saban. Am I right? You paint something for Nick Saban or about Nick Saban. You know personally the head coach of Alabama Crimson Tide.
I've met him. Yeah, I've met him. He was supposed to go into our Hall of Fame because he was an LSU coach that won a championship before he went to the Dolphins, and then ultimately back into college at Alabama. Of course, we all know what he's done since then. So obviously, many consider him the greatest of all time as far as head coaches. Hard to argue with that. So because of COVID and because he got behind in the recruiting process because of COVID, he opted out of going in 2 years ago. And so he's actually scheduled to go in next year. So I have met him. I've gone to Alabama, and he's signed some pieces for me. I met Les Miles on one day, and then I went to Alabama and met Saban the next day, because they were in the same piece. And we could go on about a half-hour show just about those two meetings, but and the difference in personalities and how everybody acted around them and those kind of things. It's a different world. I don't know if too many people should have that kind of power, or feel like they have that kind of power, but they do. but that may just go with the kind of responsibility that they also have. How much money they're bringing into the university, and how many people they employ, how many kids they're affecting, and ultimately coaching. So, I mean, I guess who am I to judge? I don't have those kind of responsibilities either. So,
who was the most difficult person to paint?
To paint or to deal with?
Both.
Both. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of at the point in my career where each one is a challenge. You know, they should be a challenge because I've done so many now. My thing is every one of them's different, you know, and they need to be different. I don't want them to look alike. You know, I don't want anybody to say, oh, you used the same background in this one as you did that one. And, but, you know, it's hard to say who is the most difficult, but you know, when they're an absolute superstar because of how people act when those people walk in. So like, I wasn't a big believer in people giving off energy my whole life until I was in the same building when Shaquille O'Neal walked in. Okay. And so I was in the back. I couldn't even see him walk in, but I felt the energy of the whole place. Like everybody got excited and I just felt it. And I literally went to find out if there was something wrong. Like, is something going on? You know? And so, and all it was Shaq walked in and everybody just got so excited and it gave off a big energy. And then, you know, like when Peyton walks in, everybody's whispering. You know, you walk into Nick Saban's office, all the secretaries are whispering because, you know, to them, you know, God's in the room. But I don't know. I will tell you, maybe we can see it. My favorite, I think my absolute favorite would probably be the Ed Reed piece. I don't know if you can see it there very well.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's just mainly because how the background turned out. There's a lot of emotion in the figure. And then I guess what made it better for me was when I was around Ed Reed. And those that don't know, Ed Reed was Baltimore Raven for the longest time. Ended up, I think, his last year with the Texans. But Football Hall of Famer, Louisiana Sports Hall of Famer. But here's the thing: when I was around him, he didn't put himself on a pedestal and he didn't act like he was better than anybody. Not that a lot of them do, but he was just very, very down to earth. You could talk to him. It felt like you were hanging out with a friend, you know, and just watching how he treated everybody, and he treated everybody that way.
Chris, it's a great pleasure to talk with you. Tell me something. Maybe sometimes, I don't know, when you sleep, when you're dreaming, you think about you are a little piece of this immortality.
Well, I mean, I like to say they're already immortal, but if you think about art all the way through history, you know, art really at the beginning was about recording history. You know, that's, you know, even back in the caves, and then, you know, it started to go on. Renaissance art, everything was about showing, because we didn't have television, we didn't have definitely social media like we have. And so I think if you look back at history in itself and you look at art or books, those are the images that we have. We didn't have anything else. And so it's so important. So maybe I'll be lucky enough, you know, 100, 200 years from now, people will be looking up these athletes, and maybe I'll be lucky enough to where my artwork is what they'll be looking at. So if I have a chance to keep them, I guess you could say, keep them alive throughout history because people are looking at the artwork, then that would be an absolute honor.
That's great. That's awesome. Chris, who was or who is your idol?
I always loved Norman Rockwell growing up. I don't know if you're familiar with Norman Rockwell or not. Always did the Saturday evening posts. And even when I was a kid, that was already old. But I love seeing the humor in his work in everyday situations. And it just made you feel good, or made you really think. There's a really, really strong piece by Norman Rockwell that he did. And it was about a Black family moving into a white neighborhood. And you had to really, really study it, because the white kids and the Black kids were meeting in the front, and they had their gloves, the baseball gloves. And obviously you could tell the kids were going to be fine. The kids were going to work it out. But you could see in the background, you could see an old white lady staring out the window. And you could just pick up all these little things throughout the painting that you understood that there was an undertone, that this was not the norm. And it really, really made you think. But Norman Rockwell did some of my most favorite sports pieces. You see the umpire standing there, and you see a drop of rain coming down, and so you can tell the rain's coming, or the kids they're doing the game where they put their hands on the bat, to see who's going to do what. I just loved his pieces.
Okay. And now the same question, but in the music.
Okay, so we're going to travel. We're going to travel a little bit. My studio's fairly large. Okay. But so you go out here in the big area, and you can kind of see the ceiling. Okay, so I got these are 8 feet tall, each one. And I got James Hetfield of Metallica back there.
Wow.
Okay, there's Jesus. There's the number one.
Wow. Oh.
You got it. There you go. That's one of the best. So I got some old blues, that's Louis Armstrong. And I got my Space Monkey, but that's a whole different story. But here's what I've actually been working on today. I know you can tell what that is.
Oof.
Yeah, Kiss.
The demo.
So that's Gene Simmons. I'm about halfway through it, but again, it's another 8-foot painting, and it'll go on the wall over here, probably next to James Hetfield. So
what
very, very. It's 4 feet by 8 feet. Yeah. So I'm 6 feet tall, and it's about 2 feet taller than me. So yeah, it's 8 feet. So all these that are on the ceiling up here are 8 feet tall.
Okay.
And you can imagine they were a chore to put up there. But I'll tell you what, instead of moving around so much, I'll just stay in here.
Oh, it's spectacular. Spectacular. Chris, this connection, I am a big fan of Kiss. You can see around me, many things.
Yeah, you got it right there. Sure.
But tell me, what is your favorite song? Just one.
Oh, well, I'm going to give you 2. I know that's not what you asked, but so my favorite song is actually a very sad song. About Today by The National. I don't know if you've ever heard it. Have you ever heard of The National?
Close your eyes. And I just watch it. Slip away.
And then my favorite fast song or heavy song is Metallica's Enter Sandman. And that's just because my last 3 years of pro ball, that's what I came out to when I pitched.
Oh, like Mariano
for the final
Rivera.
time here in the Bronx.
Number 42, Mariano Rivera. Number 42.
career began with the Yankees in 1995 as a starter against the Angels.
Yeah, so those are probably my two favorites.
Chris, thank you so much.
Had a good time. This was fun.
My amigo Chris.
All right, my friend.
Like in Spanish, no? Amigo.
Mi amigo.
Let me say to you something. Say hello to your family. Stay safe. And one more time, thank you so much, my amigo.
Yes, sir. We'll do it again. God bless.
See you soon. Keep in touch.
Gracias. God bless.
Qué maravilla, qué dicha de plática, qué episodio estamos teniendo aquí en Clériga al aire. Christopher Brown, usted lo puede buscar en las redes sociales, aparecen ahí en pantalla para las personas que siguen este podcast en video, la gente en audio. En las redes sociales de un servidor verá los retweets y la plática que hemos tenido con Christopher. Es merecedor de este espacio y de muchos otros. Es gente que se dedica y que trasciende a través de sus obras de arte en el deporte y que inspira. Ya lo decía él, también se dedica a la educación. Como recordarán a Larry Klakuszewski, a quien le mando un gran saludo. Larry, que hace poco, y mostramos en pantalla la fotografía de cómo le entrega esta pieza de arte, un balón pintado, a Antonio Muñoz, sí, aquel de los Cincinnati Bengals de ascendencia mexicana, orgullosamente mexicana. Larry Klakuszewski le entrega en Canton, Ohio. Larry, it's a great pleasure. My amigo for life. Mi amigo para toda la vida, Larry Klakuszewski. Es el mismo caso de Christopher Brown en la Universidad de Luisiana, en el estado de Luisiana, haciendo estas piezas que van directo a la inmortalidad. Ya lo escuchábamos, no quiero reiterar los puntos, pero sí es importante el platicar y el traerles a ustedes este tipo de historias para lo que representa el mundo del deporte. No solo los grandes atletas, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, etc., por hablar del fútbol americano. Mencionábamos a Mariano Rivera, ¿no? Metallica, Kiss, en fin, todos los nombres que se fueron dando a lo largo de esta plática con Chris, a quien en español de nueva cuenta le digo muchas gracias, amigo. Tenemos que despedirnos, el tiempo es el único rival que siempre está 1 o 2 pasos adelante de nosotros, pero quiero cerrar con la información de la X-League y mandarle un saludo a Misty González. Austin Sound debuta con un triunfo, contundente victoria por parte de Austin Sound en su presentación en esta temporada 2022 de la X-League. Llegamos a la parte final de Clériga al aire y qué mejor que despedirnos. Sí. Ya escuchábamos en el intro, Enter Sandman, Mariano Rivera, Christopher Brown, James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, Kirk Hammett y en ese entonces Jason Newsted, que era el bajista de Metallica. Hoy, bueno, pues es Robert Trujillo. Nos vamos con la leyenda. Gene Simmons, Rock and Roll All Night, Paul Stanley, Peter Criss, Ace Frehley, actualmente Tommy Tyer, ¿no? Eric Singer, y continúan Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Rock and Roll All Night. Clériga al aire. See you soon.
Just be gonna let you wear. It's right,
Well, Happy New Year! 20